Hello and welcome to Post-Burnout.com interviews. Post-Burnout.com is a culture website dedicated to venerating burnt-out artists the world over. My name is Aaron Kavanagh and I'm the website's founder and editor-in-chief. This is our website's podcast where we publish the full interviews from our site's articles and sometimes release exclusive episodes. In this edition of Post-Burnout.com interviews, the Swedish pop singer-songwriter Robin Lundbäck of Boy in Space discusses his upcoming debut album, The Man Who Lost It All, the emotional vulnerability on the record, his fears that fans may not like it, co-writing the album with his wife Leah Mathies and how this brought them closer together, his time in our hometown of Nashville and how the music scene there made him a better songwriter, his time with the boy band JTR on the Australian X Factor, the difference between independent releases versus major labels, the radical freedom of pop, and much more.
Hey,
Hey Robin, how are you? It's nice to meet you.
nice to meet you too. I'm sorry for being late.
All good, man. All good. No, you're not too bad. It's only like a few minutes. Dude, I want to
Yeah.
start off this interview actually with a bit of a cultural exchange. So, with the one thing I know, one thing I have in my house that's Swedish, which is this. Oh, it's not it's
Wait, what
going
is
out.
it?
Nordic Spirit. Apparently, it's everywhere. That's our biggest Swedish import, apparently, because it's everywhere.
Yeah, I know. That's been such a weird thing to see because in Sweden, you've always seen those. But I mean, those are kind of new, like the flavored kind.
Yeah.
Like they are, don't quote me on this, but I believe that they were actually banned in Sweden because they're like kind of promoting nicotine, if that makes sense. If they
Yeah.
make like flavored, it's watermelon or like mint, like old snus is just like
Yeah.
literally tobacco.
Yeah.
So I think it's all like foreign companies, but it comes from like the Swedish idea of snoozing, I think.
Uh, it says here, yeah. I don't know. The claim to be Swedish doesn't give an exact location, but
They probably are. They probably are.
I've tried to direct snooze from a Swede actually, and it is kind of like I don't know. It's like going from like vaping to like traditional smoking, I guess. Like if that's all you
Yeah.
know, it feels like a bit of a not downgrade, but it feels like a bit flavorless.
I think I actually I mean I don't snooze myself, but my dad does, and like everyone around me basically does. So if I'm out having a beer, sometimes I'll have one. But then I actually prefer the real one because it has like a licorice notes to it, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. It has
No,
more like a
absolutely.
subtle vibe than I feel like the minty fresh ones, they like actually burn you as well.
Yeah. Yeah, but I kind of like the burn. I kind of like having my gums receding.
Yeah, it sounds
That's
amazing. I'm
that's
so
dental problem.
jealous.
That's dental problems for 10 years down the line. That's my
Yes. So where are you from?
Dublin, Ireland.
Dublin. Oh,
You.
let's go.
Actually, what's very
Cool.
interesting is I don't know if you know this. I was once looking up like diplomatic relations between Ireland and different countries, and there is none between Sweden and Ireland until I think 1949. We both established an embassy, one in Stockholm, one in Dublin, and then before that, absolutely nothing. So the Danes and the Norwegians, Vikings came over and invaded, but not the Swedes. We weren't good enough for you guys.
Really? Did we
Yeah, you
just
weren't.
go to like did we just go to like the first stages of the UK?
Yes,
Was it like
probably.
yeah. Because
Although
I've
to be
heard so
clear,
many
Ireland's not the UK. Just you'll get killed for saying that.
sorry.
Is it a similar thing if I said like
True. Yes. I know there's like messy history.
very much so. But would I get like in similar trouble if I went to like Scandinavia and claimed that like Finland was Scandinavian? Would I also get in trouble for that, or would people like I don't care?
I feel like we claim it. I think
Okay.
also as a Swede, I'm like very like I don't know. I feel like Denmark, Norway, and Finland is all Sweden.
Yeah. What about
Because
Iceland?
sorry,
Oh, it's all Sweden. Sorry, I thought you said all Scandinavia. I was gonna ask what about Iceland?
no. I mean maybe no. Iceland is its own thing, but I
Yeah.
feel like as a big when like Sweden was the biggest one of the biggest powers in Europe, we like owned everything. So I feel like we have this complex of we look down on every country around us. We're like, we could own you if we wanted to. We were just nice enough to give you back.
We'll steal your tobacco and make snus.
Yeah. Yes.
Actually, dude, let's start off with this, right? So you've been doing this project now for like 10 years roughly, right? Um,
Yeah, I mean it's getting to that point.
Yeah.
I started I think when I knew it was going to be Boy in Space, it was like 2018-ish, 2017 late, I would say. That's when I had like an idea and started like making up names for what it would be called or whatnot.
Well, what's interesting about that, like to me, and actually, you wouldn't tell. Like I know this is an audio podcast, you would not tell from looking at us. We're actually around the same age. We're both born in '94, if your bio is correct. To
Yes.
me, it does not feel like that long ago. 2018, 2017 does not feel like 10 years, almost 10 years ago. I think like you can blame some of that with COVID. You know,
Yeah,
COVID kind of messed
yeah,
your time frame a bit. But
yeah.
dude, like COVID was like 2 years. So really, it doesn't even feel like 8 years ago, you know?
I agree. I feel like 2015 feels like forever ago,
Mm,
but I'm with you. 2018, especially 2019 feels like so recent.
yeah.
It feels like literally 3 years ago, but it's not
Well,
3 years ago.
well, that was my first question. I mean, like, you know, you've been like doing music professionally now for, I guess, like 14 years, I guess. So I mean, for you, and I mean, you're still a young guy, but I mean, like, that's you know, that's such a in the grand scheme of your entire lifetime, that is a big chunk of it. Does it
Yeah.
feel like you've been going for that long, or?
Yes and no.
Mhm.
I think you get used to making music, and it sounds weird, but you have to like remind yourself that it's not normal. Like if you've been doing it for long enough, you like kind of learn it like any other trade, and you get like these inside jokes, and you're like, oh, typical music industry, not like paying their artist or whatever. Like
Yeah.
you get used to anything like any other type of work. So I feel like, yeah, it feels like it's been a long time, but also I feel like the best thing about music is that you also get to be like reborn.
Mhm.
Every album or like everything that you're doing is like a rebirth of what you want to say or like who you are creatively, which is also, I mean, my upcoming album is so different to like what I would have released in an EP back in 2019, even 2023. It's like immensely different. But then the core values are still there, and like it's still the same, I guess, to like 14 years ago, but it's changed so much too. Yeah.
Well, I think it's really interesting is actually, you know, you mentioned your album that's coming, which we'll definitely talk about, of course. But to me, it seems like there's actually a great continuity between them. But I get what you're saying from your perspective. I mean, you know, obviously you're evolving so much just as a person, as a musician. Just like I can imagine, even in that time, you yourself are getting new inspirations, not only from like music, but different art you're consuming. Maybe
Yeah.
it's different books you're reading or different films you've seen.
Yeah.
Who's kind of inspiring you now that weren't on your radar, like say a couple of years ago?
Oh, I feel like there's so many people. Like I feel when I get this question, I always black out and I can't remember
It happens to
anyone.
us all, yeah.
But I feel like I had a big change. I was going through a lot of personal changes and a lot of things like during kind of from COVID, but also moving towards like 2023. I was going through a lot of personal stuff. So during that time, I leaned towards music that kind of didn't remind me of work.
Yeah.
So I leaned back to like old Americana, like a bunch of like Simon and Garfunkel, Jackson Brown, Joni Mitchell, and like that later became like interest in like more modern like Americana and also a bit of country. So I don't know. I feel like 2024 I had this big like country phase of my life too, where I just kind of like deep dive into Nashville and was just like, I'm a country boy now. I'm gonna wear a cowboy hat, and now I'm like kind of taking a step back and realizing, I still got to be who I am. I'm not a cowboy.
Mhm.
I am a person who has really interesting stories, and I've have a life, and I have trauma like everyone else. So I feel like that's the biggest difference I would say in my music taste. It's like it's definitely gone into more storytelling. but then I'm still like made in the like foundational values of Swedish pop,
Yeah.
which is so melody driven. So it's still there, but
Yeah.
it's just, I don't know. In my world, it becomes the best of both worlds because it's like you're getting those big catchy melodies, but it's not all about that. And I think my lyrics before has been really clever, and they've been able to like elicit feelings like on a surface level. But I feel like now I'm really gonna get to like grab people's hearts for real,
Yeah.
because now it's about truth. Now it's about things that have actually happened in my life, and I can talk about it. I can meet my fans after the concerts, and we can have a conversation about it of like who's crying when I'm leaving, or like the man who lost it all. And all of a sudden, it's not just a pop phenomenon, but it's an actual conversation of the human experience, which I love. I love. I think the older I get, I want to be more human.
Yeah.
But make
No,
that the title of this.
he wants to be more human.
Says the AI robot boy in space.
Oh, yeah.
He
No,
wants to be
I
a real boy.
I would never do this. I want to clarify this before I say it, but I did think it'd be so unethical if I just did like fake AI podcasts with people. Be like, here I am interviewing, I don't know, David Bowie
Yeah,
before he
Johnny
died or
Weir.
something. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I
Here's
would never
Elvis
do it.
Presley.
Yeah.
You
Oh
know?
my God, dude. Like, I will say it can get kind of grim on our side of things where like a lot of people now are sending like AI EBKs and you're like, oh my God. You're like, who's actually a human being?
I know. It's scary. I feel like also to my fascination, it's like the younger generation are the most like against it,
Yeah.
which is really fascinating. Like,
Which I find very positive. I find because it's weird even talk. It's like we're only in our early 30s, but it's like we're talking
yeah,
about the youth, like as if we're like 70-year-old men. But I do find younger people kind of hard to pin down because it seems like a lot of kids like now are very like they're using like open source and they're using AI and they're very into it. But then there's also another contingent who are like talking about the environmental ramifications who are very socially conscious about that sort of thing. And
yeah.
I just find like the generation just below us, like Gen Z onwards, it to be very hard to kind of understand politically and to understand, because like a lot of them are very far left, but a lot
Yeah,
of them are very far right, and I'm like, where are we going?
it's I understand you. I understand what you're saying. Yeah. I mean that's a conversation that we could deep dive into and talk about 3 hours.
The youth of
Yeah.
today.
I mean, I think it's easy, you know, I'll find myself scrolling for 3 hours and then I'm like, what have I done? Who am
Mm,
I? What are my thoughts? And then I need to like detox.
yeah,
You know what I'm feeling? I feel like I constantly have to detox my brain like every day, and I have to do like make conscious decisions about not spending time in like a weird, I don't
rabbit
know,
hole.
yeah, rabbit hole, or even not even a rabbit hole, but I feel like I have a constant need of gratification, or
Yeah.
like I need a dopamine hit from something. So I don't know. Lately, I've been just choosing to like do like Sudoku
hmm
on the
Yeah, let's
train.
Sudoku. Yeah.
I was sitting, I just listened to nothing also because my wife needed to borrow my headphones. So I can't give myself all the credit. But I was just sitting doing Sudokus, and I was in pain because there were people talking. I couldn't focus on anything, but it was like kind of nice.
Yeah.
It's like that first gym sesh that you have. It's really hard, but then you get
Yeah.
into it, you're like, this is
And you
actually
feel it
pretty good.
afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah, just going for a walk, not listening to anything. I feel
Yeah.
like we're in such a rush to have constant information. And then I find myself not even knowing what I think of things. Because I feel like we have to take in things, but then we also have to sort out the things that we're actually receiving. So I feel like that's my little tip of the day.
Well, actually, as an artist, as a songwriter, I mean, how do you feel about like how much information you take in from the outside world that's actually conducive to what you're doing versus how much of it is kind of actually preventing you from getting on what you need to do? Because you do have to kind of be aware of what's going on around you, just as a human being, let alone an artist. But
Yeah.
so what do you think is like the right amount, if there is such a thing?
I think it comes in seasons or like comes in waves a little bit. I think sometimes I'm way more adaptable to lots of information, and I think sometimes it gets overwhelming, like with the songwriting, and then I'm like writing for myself, I'll be writing for others, and then I'm doing content, and then I go home, I watch the news, and like everything's going on, and it's
Hmm.
like I think at just some, I think you can feel it. I think you can feel when you need to just have a little break from it. And I feel like it's in those breaks I come up like with my next song titles, or like I actually become, I don't think if you're at that stage, I don't think you actually have to like choose to go and be creative. I think once you just get a moment to like have some silence to sort out your thoughts, you'll realize
Hmm.
you have more thoughts and you have more ideas and you have so much more creative output than you actually thought you had. It's just that you couldn't place it,
Yeah.
basically. And
Well, you
chaos
met,
is only chaos. Chaos isn't anything. It's just a bunch of information. So you need time to structure it. And that's where all ideas come from, I think.
do you ever meditate?
Yeah, I mean, I pray. I I guess that's meditation.
Sure.
I guess it's the same thing, I guess. I'm like asking for guidance. I'm like I'm specific about things that I like ask for, and I'm like moving forward with like a thought of like positivity and like a goal in mind.
Yeah. No, I think actually sometimes even like with praying, it's like what's very interesting is that like sometimes like I don't know, it's kind of actually sometimes you pray for things and you don't get it, and it's after the fact you kind of go, oh, well, I see now why that like that would have been a bad thing, or I see now why
Yeah.
that like why it was better that I didn't get that, if that makes sense, you know?
Hmm.
So yeah, do you find like do you find it easy to keep like with the world being so negative now? I mean, do you find it easy to be positive or to see the good things in life?
You know, I'm very fortunate, but I still have to like wrestle. It's easy how small things can make you like think like negatively. So I think even with anything in life, you have to like remind yourself of how lucky you are. And I think me especially, you know, I have a very good position where I come from, and you know, Sweden's a beautiful country. I have
Mhm.
like my family's doing well. I found the love of my life. I get to have the career that I really want to have, but still in all of that, I can find myself like spiraling down in like negativity or like bitterness. So I think prayer for me is also like important because it's a moment when I get to like be thankful for things
Yeah.
and like recognize what I have and that I don't need more. Like I don't have to go chasing this like fairy tale of a
Yeah.
life or like because I'm actually living it, which is insane. But yeah.
Yeah, and also like when you're on the road and you're doing things and you're busy and like you're doing shows and you're traveling, right? Like, do you how do you kind of like set the time right just to be Robin and not to be, what's kind of expected of you? Because like I can't even imagine the pressure you're on, like when it comes to like touring and stuff like that, where
Mm.
you're responsible for so many things. So how do you in those moments how do you kind of like decompress, or is it just something you're familiar with because you've been doing it since you were a teenager?
I think something that I did last tour that was really I have a few things. I feel like one thing is that I don't hang out in the green room
Hmm.
because it's a weird space. The
Yeah.
energy is so weird there because there's so much tension and it's built like this weird waiting room. You almost feel like a cow like up for slaughter because it's
Yeah.
like you're in this like weird back room. It doesn't have a toilet, and then it's like a fridge making like a noise,
Hmm. Yep.
and then like some
Has
people just
graffiti
hang.
on the walls and everything.
Yeah, and it's like it smells like alcohol, and
Yeah.
it's like it's. I think you can feel how many nervous moments and all that, like all those feelings are kind of stuck into the walls. So I usually just like to do normal stuff beforehand. I like go and do sound check, and then I go for a long walk. Like I'll have a conversation with like my mom, or like I'll eat something or read something or whatever. I like to just be connected and not disconnect too much.
Yeah.
And I think
And
even with even when I meet people, it's like that's been helping me too. It's like I like to take the moment to just meet people and show them that I'm just a normal person, because I feel like there's also this expectation of you being this like superhuman, or like you're this artist person and you're not like me.
Hmm.
And the best feeling, I
Is
think,
when
is
you
just
connect.
when you connect and show them just like, hey, I'm just a normal Swedish dude who literally get to do what I love.
Yeah,
And I'm so thankful to be here. And I want to get to know you. What's your name? Like,
yeah.
how did you get to know my music? And it's so funny to see. It's so funny to see the reaction of in people's faces when I'm genuinely
Like you're
interested.
talking to me.
Yeah, and there's like, can I take a picture? And it's like, you literally spent money to come and listen to me, and you make me able to do what I do. And it's like, of course, can I take a picture of you? I'm gonna
Yeah.
keep this on my wall in my
That's so
kitchen.
cute.
Yeah.
When you tour around, actually, do you get to see the cities you're in, or is it very much just like hotel venue?
I mean, some days it's nice to just, stay at the hotel and kind of unwind a little bit, especially if you're driving a lot as well. And then it's like long nights and whatnot. So, but if you're like in a nice city, I think it depends on the city.
Yeah.
If it's like an approachable city and like the venue is close to something fun, I always like to look up a good coffee shop, or like some good like vintage clothing stores, and just do a little browsing. Sometimes I'll have a little haircut. Who
Hmm.
knows? If I'm feeling a little impulsive. But yeah, I like to explore the areas as much as I can. I mean, I think it is important. I think the older I get, the more I learn to like kind of keep my energy and save my voice a little bit, and don't take it all like this is only going to happen once, so I better see everything and I better go on these like city tours and then play a show tomorrow and whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, one thing I notice when I travel now, as I'm a little bit older too, is that like it used to be, and I don't really blame myself for this because like just as a kid, I didn't have the brain to really appreciate this, but like what I actually like now, because like as a kid, you just want stimulation, you want like arcades or you want like amusement parks, you want like something big that's just like distracting you all the time, but like as now, it's like I kind of see myself in to continue like in the singularity of time in a way, if that makes sense, where like if I see like a castle from like 500 AD or something like that, I can kind of see myself on that timeline that's going to exist after I'm no longer here. I can kind of
Mm,
appreciate the longevity of that a bit more. Do you find
mm.
now touring as you've gotten older you can appreciate those sorts of things more, or have you always been kind of appreciative of those things?
I've like history and like the like cultural meaning of places and stuff like that. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, like more so like
Yeah.
well, I guess like you're saying like as you get older, you're trying to like you take things from a different perspective, which I think
Yeah.
happens naturally. But how's that kind of work for you, particular? Don't let me impose onto you.
No, 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 no. I think I've always kind of had that. My dad's an historian, like a history teacher.
Sick.
Historian. I don't know if that's how you say it.
Yeah,
Probably not.
historian. Yep, yep.
Okay. So we've always like at like family trips when we were younger, he would like stay and he'd, like stop the car and he's like, there's like a set of ruins like 500 meters that way. Let's walk through the field and I'll get bitten by ticks. And we're like, sure. So I feel like also being in Sweden, there's so much history and I've always appreciated it. But yeah, I think one thing that I've actually started to appreciate more as I'm getting older is like, I don't know, like craftsmanship or something like that.
Yeah,
Like that's something I really, really like. So if I can see something that it's like well done and like there's like a thought behind it, I really appreciate that. So I think that's why I go to like good coffee shops.
yeah. No,
And I'm
it's
like,
interesting too because like I don't know if it's the same in Sweden, but like over here, like for example, there's this issue of like, what should be preserved as like a historical building, and what can be kind of like modernized. And I don't
yeah,
really like a lot of modern architecture personally. Like it looks like a prison to me in a way. It
yeah,
looks like cubes,
I
you know what I
agree.
mean?
Let's
So
make a shoebox and put windows on it.
exactly. But like I wonder, like again, 100 years from now when we're all gone, will that just be like, oh yeah, that's 21st century architecture. Look how great it was, you know?
I think I think, sorry, my brother keeps calling me. I texted him, told him I'm in an interview.
Grand.
Um, I, I don't know. I have like a feeling that beauty, like I went to a Viking museum like a few weeks ago and I'm like, this is beautiful. Like it was beautiful then, it's beautiful now. I think sometimes we get, I think some art like really withstands time. It's kind of like music, how some songs that are so big for a year
Mhm.
and then they just kind of, you know how some songs don't age well.
Yeah.
I think that's it. I think I think that's the thing with like architecture and some things. I think some things are a trend. They're super new and they like kind of make us super excited because it's like kind of bending what we thought was beautiful. And I think when the wow factor is gone and when the like big showy moment is gone, we're kind of like left with it like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why did we think this was beautiful? It's a block that's like concrete.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I think
Why did we turn half our city into a Starbucks?
literally, I mean, sometimes I like a Starbucks. It's like convenient. It's like at a
You would
train
love Dublin
station.
then. You would love Dublin. Every second building is a Starbucks.
Oh no. But I was gonna say, but it's like, but also, yeah, I don't know. I think beauty can like withstand ultimate beauty can withstand like the time test
Yeah.
of like it's like a Shakespeare play is gonna still be so beautiful.
Yeah. And actually, what's very interesting too, is like if you go through, what I find very interesting when I go abroad is like going to cathedrals and you see like how similar they are, like across different countries and different cultures. I just find that
Yeah,
very fascinating because like you see how not only do things preserve, but they preserve with a certain like continuity between different cultures and different histories, and
yeah.
it survives like wars and it survives all these like things, like it
It's
survives.
almost like they're too beautiful to
That's a
destroy.
great, yeah,
Even if you like would conquer a country. I mean, this is not true of every conqueror, but
sure,
plenty of them try to ruin everything. But
absolutely,
yeah, I think when we're standing in front of beauty, we kind of just want to preserve it. It's like a child. It's like let's keep this child safe
yeah.
because they're just children. They're precious.
I have to ask, so for you as a writer, how do you find like travel has kind of influenced your writing?
I think I think definitely. I mean, I have to give it to Nashville.
Hmm.
Nashville's been that place because it truly is a city that's steeped in music.
Yeah,
Like wherever you go, there's music playing live. So I think Nashville has definitely done that to me. Like all other cities I go to, there's emphasis on other things. It's like food or like historical like discoveries or something like that. But Nashville is truly a city where people go just for the music, and I get it. It's so cool. You can be like 30 minutes outside of the city at some weird little shitty pub or like
hmm
bar, I guess you would call it.
yeah,
I
bar there.
I
I'd
tried
say
to
pub,
tell
but
you.
yeah,
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
Just pour yourself a pint of Guinness in Nashville. No, but no, but it's like, and you will see like one of the world's best like blues guitarist or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm more true to Memphis or whatever, but still, it's like it's amazing the inspiration you feel coming back from that place. It's like so extreme in all ways. It's just expression. People are just talking to anyone, and you're just getting to know people. And then all of a sudden, you're on the street, and there's just hundreds of thousands of people, and they all want to go to a place to listen to music. I think that's really cool.
And they're receptive to other types of music because I've never been to Nashville myself. I've spoken to lots
Yeah,
of artists who have, and obviously the connotation with Nashville is kind of like country bluegrass.
yeah,
But would they be receptive to say Europop?
probably. Yeah, I think so. I think it's a very like modernized city.
Yeah,
So I think most like big pop acts go there and they have a show there. But I mean, I think it helps if it has some like if the production has some kind of value in the like organic, like bandy space, I think that always helps.
Yeah.
But I think you can do it in so many. I mean, I saw Maggie Rogers, for example,
Mhm.
there, and she's pop, like indie pop, I guess, but she's definitely not country.
And actually, speaking of pop, one thing I was very interested in always discussing when I'm talking to pop artists is actually the freedom permitted by pop, because I think for years there's been kind of a connotation of like pop being sort of like the commercial, you think of like the charts and things like that. But I think there's actually a huge radical freedom, and I think your project is an example of this, where you
Yeah,
see actually the freedom that pop permits. And but you were someone who obviously was in, if I don't know if you like talking about this or not, but like you were in a boy band when you were younger that was on a
yeah.
major label. Now you're like an indie pop artist on like a small Swedish label. So I was wondering, like, do you find like, how do you feel about the two different modes of pop? I guess from the kind of more commercial aspect to the more kind of like artistry aspect.
I mean, there's two different aspects that I have on it. I think there's something. I think obviously pop has changed a lot, especially since I started. It was such a, you knew what pop was.
Yeah,
I think today,
absolutely.
if you say pop, people are like, what do you mean pop? Do you mean this kind of pop, that kind of pop, that pop? Or do you mean the more synthy pop? It's like, there's so many like subgenres of pop today, I feel like. So I think in that way, it kind of becomes a little messy because it's harder to like find your core audience.
Hmm.
It's like very spread out. I feel like every other genre is like, I like rock. Okay, you you probably like this band.
Hmm.
Or it's like in pop, it's like such a hit or miss.
Yeah.
It's like very different. So I don't know. I love it. I love it. But I also feel like as I have no idea what's gonna happen with Boy in Space or how it's gonna sound in 5 years. But I can imagine the older I get, like the less flashier it gets. Just kind of like, I don't know, human beings in itself. But in that process, I think it's also going to become more beautiful. And I think the longer time you spend with Boy in Space, the more raw Boy in Space you're going to get.
Yeah.
Just of like who I actually am. Because I feel like the more I age, the less I feel like I have to put on this mask or like I have to put on this big performance. And like I feel like as a young kid who never was good in school, I would never get like affirmation through sports or anything.
Hmm.
I feel like music was my field where when I sang or like I played a song, people appreciated me. So I
Hmm.
feel for the longest of time, I wanted to impress people and I wanted people to like me and I wanted to feel like appreciated by everyone. And I think when you want to feel that, you're trying to hit like a huge mark
Which
in
is
some
impossible,
sense.
by the way. Like, not even just like as an artist, but I think as a person, not everyone's gonna like you.
Exactly. And I think the older I get, the more comfortable I get in my skin and the more I realize actually I don't need to be Justin Bieber. I can have like my core audience where I
Hmm.
can tour every year and
Yeah.
that I'll probably be happy with that. Like I don't need this big amazing like I don't know. It's like a you know those 80s movies where everything has to be in a certain way at the end and there needs to be a big explosion. Like I don't need that kind of movie. I'm good with like sitting on a porch,
Yeah.
like just rocking back and forth and talking about my beautiful life and then seeing like my kids succeed in something. Like
Yeah.
that's the kind of movie ending I want.
So you want the end of Fargo?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I don't need to like jump off a cliff in a very dramatic explosion.
Actually, that was something that was interesting. You've often talked about like how cinema has influenced your music and how kind of a cinematic scope is something that you're aiming for. I was wondering actually, what filmmakers do you like? I wasn't able to find just like looking up what filmmakers kind of influence you.
Oh, I mean, there was a time where I was really like nerdy into it. Unfortunately, I'm like engaged to this like woman who loves to watch like Godzilla and the Meg. So like my past year has literally been watching like the bottom scrapers of IMDb,
That's not necessarily a
which
bad thing. I mean, you're kind of getting in tune with kind of like what people want to go see. Who doesn't want to see Jason Statham fighting his shark?
exactly. So it's been cinematically it's been a weird year for me. But no, I think I'm like a classical dude. I
Yeah. I
like
have to ask,
Quentin
sorry, if this,
Quentin Tarantino or like Martin Scorsese.
of course.
Yeah, or like
And
yeah,
Martin
the
Scorsese, by
classic.
the way, getting big into AI.
Of course, because he's old.
Unfortunately. Unfortunately, yeah. I still love him. I'll
This
always
is
love him.
amazing.
I'll always love him.
I need
Anyway,
to make a movie with this.
the
Oh,
question I have to ask though,
yeah.
because and this is probably a stereotype of mine, a Swedish stereotype. Bergman, are you a fan of Bergman?
Yes. I mean, yeah. I think you have to be kind of as a Swedish person.
It was
But I'm
actually
nev-
what you, sorry.
but I'm like I've never like actually I feel like I had like my trajectory into cinema at like a time, but then like for different reasons, it kind of took a halt. But I'm it's also because I had like my own home like cinema setup and I don't have that anymore. And I think movies and cinema deserves a good watching
Yeah,
and it deserves good sound and it deserves like the proper get up for it.
yeah.
So I have a lot of things that I want to experience. The Beatles is one of them. I don't listen to the Beatles. I've heard the Beatles many times. I realized that I think they're brilliant, but I haven't deep like dove into it yet. And I have a time in my life, I think I'm like reserving it in my head for like another year or like future me. And I think cinema is going to be like that for me further down the line. It's like when I have my own movie room
Yeah.
and I can just be like, I'm going to get a moment for myself now. And I'm just going to watch this, I don't know, Japanese drama from the 70s.
Hmm.
And I'm just going to enjoy it.
What if you go see the new Meg film and it's just full of Beatles songs?
Yeah, I mean,
That'll be that experience ruined.
I think it's humbled me because I feel like for a moment there, I was beginning to become one of those snobs
Sure.
who was like, I'm not going to watch anything. I had like a rule. I was like, I don't watch anything below 6.5 on IMDb. And like, if it was, yeah, I had these weird rules of movies where I was like feeling very high and mighty and I would like talk to people about it and whatever. But I feel like this is humbling for me. I think I'm realizing sometimes you actually just want a really bad movie.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I want to see that new scary movie because I like knew I could just like I was tired from work and I was like, I know it's gonna be shit, but I don't care. I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna sit down and be idle.
Yeah, and if you go to like the cinemas, it's the whole ritual. It's the popcorn, it's the soda, it's
Yeah,
the getting there. It's like the, ooh, I wonder if it's going to be good or not. Like it's
yeah.
everything. I kind of missed that with I'm kind of working on the song. I don't know what to call it yet, but I'm talking about like nostalgic things.
Mm,
And there's a line in it where it's like when picking out a movie meant reaching for a shelf. And I'm like thinking back to the times when you would actually go and rent like movies and you would like run your finger down
yeah,
like the spine of all these like plastic wraps and you would like see a color or like a font that spoke to you and you would like pull it out and you're like you could also see on the cover if it was good or bad
yeah.
because you could see the budget they had and sometimes you would be bamboozled because it all looked amazing
Yeah.
but it's a shite movie and you're just sitting there watching it and you're like you had so much potential. The cover was so cool. And then it's this trash, like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
The other cool thing about like video rental spaces, because we used to have them here too, obviously, and
Yeah.
I remember seeing the front cover to David Lynch's Eraserhead, but I never saw the
Yeah.
film until I was like, kind of older. I think I was like a teenager, but like in my
Yeah.
head, I had an idea what that film kind of was, So it's like, what's kind of cool is even if you don't rent the film, if you see a cover that kind of grabs your imagination, you can kind of be like, like, oh, like you can kind of envision what that would be in your own head. And I don't know if
Yeah,
kids like, like if people now, like kids who only have exposure, say like Netflix, like would they
yeah.
see like a Netflix like front cover and be like, oh, would they have that same experience? Like maybe, I don't know.
I feel like I can do that with Netflix.
Yeah, maybe.
Uh,
But the problem with Netflix is if you stay on it, it will just start playing a preview so you'll know what you're getting.
true,
Yeah.
true. That's so true. But I feel like if it's just like on Netflix, I just go for the old stuff
Yeah.
usually. It's like that's like my safety bubble. It's just nostalgic art.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
was a different, it was like, it wasn't that accessible to create. So there had to be like a little bit of a corridor where you had to be let in
Yeah.
by the powers of film. And it's the same, it would used to be the same with music, I feel like. There were these like big doors that you had to like get
Knock
through.
on.
And there had to be like a gatekeeper of some sort. And you had to like prove yourself in some way before you got let through the door. And I mean, that can be dark too.
Yeah.
There's definitely been like manipulation and like whoever holds that key can kind of like manipulate the industry. But there's also something smart about a gatekeeper because it kind of protects the quality of things.
But hold on a sec, let me push back on that a tiny bit.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
sure.
for example, with your project that you're doing now with Boy in Space, I mean, do you
Yeah.
think that this could be as successful as it was with those gatekeepers, or do you think you benefit now from the kind of, I don't know if democratization is the right word, but the kind of like open source kind of thing where like people can, find you organically and you can release and produce your own music organically, or do you think it's better to have, say, a record label in the middle?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's such a broad question, and I
Okay.
don't think there's one right answer. But I do think that an over exaggeration of any industry is just going to kind of, I don't know. There's how how are you heard
Yeah.
in today's industry? And I feel like I keep hearing songs that aren't that good, but then you realize the visual hooks are really good
Yeah.
and the videos are better than the music. And you're like, oh, the content is more important than the music, especially if you're new. Like it's the shock value is more important than actually having good songs in some cases. I think obviously you still need good music, but
Yeah.
I think when the content like overlaps the music
Hmm.
and becomes better than the actual art form that you're using to promote the content with, or like I mean vice versa, like
I
switch
understand what
that
you're
around.
saying. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes. When the
like
content
there's
is better than the music.
yeah, it's like a that's a weird thing to me. Like I
Yeah.
come from such a other way, and you would like write an album and then go to labels, be like, this is who I am. And now it's this, you're like promoting a song. I mean, it works and it's the way it is. I'm not even bitching about it. It's just different. But
Yeah.
it's like you see artists that have like promoted the same song for a year. I mean, I guess you would do that back in the day.
Well, there is an interesting thing, and I think this is relatable in space where, back in the day, it was like you release an album, so you record an album, you release it, and then like you have singles to go for it. So you generally have, say, like two singles before the album comes out,
Yeah.
and then like two singles afterwards. But now I think actually, like discerning between like what is an album, what's an EP, what's a waterfall release is kind of like for you, for example, could you confidently say like how many EPs you have, or how many of the EPs do you just count as like the result of a waterfall release and things like that? Like, you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like in that sense, when you actually go to a record shop to buy the new album, it was like that was the album. But like now, and again, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying this just is the way it is now, where it's like,
Yeah.
now it's like, you do like singles and then it kind of eventuates into an album.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, we're doing the same thing with the album. It's like a continuation of singles. I mean, we definitely don't want to like release every song and then it's like now the album is out because you've
Right.
heard everything already. Like we definitely
Exactly.
want some. Also, we were like, we can't just like the. It also becomes hard if you need like 5 to 6 strong singles from the album It's like, do you like just put out all your strongest songs in the beginning and then give like the rest of the songs are just not that compelling? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully all my songs are compelling. I otherwise I wouldn't
I
have
would
put
say
them on
so.
my album.
I've heard the album. I think they're all compelling, just for whatever my
Okay,
opinion's worth.
thank you so much.
I'm
But
not
I
being
mean,
polite.
there's some songs that were like, should we put that song in there instead? And then I'm like, but it's kind of nice to give them like one of the best songs at the end of the
Yeah.
journey, so they keep them just, I don't know, waiting a little bit in like anticipation.
Well, let's talk about the record then. So it's called The Man Who Lost It All. It's coming out the
Yeah,
23rd of October, if I'm correct. That's what I
yeah.
wrote down. So you started off with the single. So you started off with Who's Crying When I'm Leaving. So, for example, well, actually, before we go into the singles, let's talk about the album itself. So was this written uh, with the concept of it being a record, or were these just kind of songs you had together that you thought worked together?
This is the first time I'm making a real record, I would
Mhm.
say. I mean, I've done EPs before, and the one thing that we talked about, me and my label, before we started making this record was it can't be what it's been before, where it's like a collection of singles and they all sound different.
Right.
Like it needs to be the same producers and the same master and everything. If everything needs to be from the same room, from the same energy. So, I mean, a lot of I would say like most of the songs were written within like a continuation of 2 weeks,
Mhm.
uh, which is the first time I've ever done anything like that. And I kind of surprised myself. It was me, my partner Leah, and Oscar Wyden. We were in Italy and we were just writing song after song. And I think after writing, was it 6 or 7, we're like, okay, all of these songs are going to be on the album. Great, cool. And it was surprising because I feel like sometimes I think I also knew the producer. Like, obviously, I know my partner very well, and she's an amazing
Sure.
writer. And I think together we just had like a little, like, perfect dynamic to write the best music we ever have written. I feel like we have that had that intention as well. We're like pushing each other and like, how can we think outside the box? How can we do something we haven't done before? How can we be more intentional with the lyrics? Like, how can we not try to rush the second verse? There's so many things we do as writers to kind of be done with the day sometimes, and we were like really fighting for amazing songs. So you feel like when you're listening to this album, it's all there's not a song on that album that I haven't lived, and I'm
And
proud to say that in so many ways, because I have songs that are huge. I'm not huge, but like are big with my fans,
I would say huge.
and I can't give them a story,
Yeah.
and I can't, and I see the disappointment in their eyes, and I'm so happy that I can finally hand them music that I can tell them, no, this is from this thing that I went through back in the day, and we can talk about it, because that's like one of the biggest joys of music.
Do you ever worry about releasing a song that you will no longer resonate with in the future? Or are you kind of happy to sort of just play if that's what the fans want? It's a very like it's a difficult question. I
Oh,
think a lot of artists do, you know what I mean?
yeah, I think, you know what? I think it's one of those things. We need to express ourselves, and I mean, who knows what I'm gonna think in whatever how many years. But I think if you're looking at your history in that way, and like you're like looking through like a little microscope and like, oh, why did I do that and blah blah, I think you're looking at it wrong. We're building a foundation of something, and we're building something, and I mean, nothing is perfect. It is what it is. We're humans, and we're trying to express ourselves. If you think you're going to do a perfect job of that, well, good luck. I think some people fall into that trap, and then they just don't do anything. Like,
Yeah.
they fall into the perfection trap.
Yeah, like I think of Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys who spent like, 2 decades trying to make the perfect pop record and
Oh,
like literally like had OCD from it, you know? Like
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I get it. I mean, I think there's like I said before, we want to be loved. And I feel like every human wants to do that. And I think sometimes we like fall into like we make it more precious than it is.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But
It's fun. We get to do music and we get to have fun and we get to make mistakes and we get to make it in that battle of like what's good and what's not good. We kind of find ourselves and like find the sound that we like. And if we're so scared to like, if I would have been so scared with this out, like there's a part of me that was scared about this album. Like there's there's things that I've done in this album that I've never done before. And I think some Boy in Space fans are going to be like, what?
mm,
This isn't the Boy in Space that I fell in love with back in 2018 or 2019. And it's you have to be fine with that sacrifice because if you're just
yeah,
safe keeping things, you're not really creating anymore. You're just copying. You're
and
just
that music is always there.
exactly and all in its time. It all has its own time and it's all has its little it's like a bookshelf where
Yeah.
it's like different sections have different little pieces.
I would expand that metaphor a little bit and say it's actually kind of like your own bookshelf, where sometimes you might go through phases of your life as you grow up, and if you collect them all in your bookshelf, you look back at them and go, "Oh, that's when I was in that phase. That was that phase when I was reading that kind of literature, and that's when I was really into this guy." And I think like it's the same. The art you create and produce and put out into the world, like whether you like it or not, you're going to look back at it as a documentation of your life.
Yeah, and sometimes you might like cross blend things. I feel like with this album, it's I actually have happy songs, which I can't remember the last time I did happy music. And I was thinking about it. I was like, some of these songs actually could be JTR songs,
Yeah,
like my old boy band,
yeah,
because they're like optimistic and they're fun. And there's not this like, I need to constantly be cool and like mysterious or like depressed.
yeah.
And I was like, that's amazing. I get to just make fun pop music again. I mean, I still have mysterious cool pop, but it's not all it's like sad songs, which I feel like Boy in Space was for so long was just this big.
You have the complexity of a human being.
Yeah, and I want to show that complexity because I want it to reflect life in so many ways. So
I want to ask you, mentioned co-writing with your partner there. I was wondering, do you think writing lyrics is a good means of communication between partners? Because I think it's a very deep thing because like the poetry you're writing in your lyrics is very, it's very existential and it's very deep and it's very personal. There's a specific lyric I actually want to highlight, but I'll get that in a minute. But
yeah,
something I was interested in is like, and your music has always been very thoughtful. Your lyrics have always been very thoughtful and very expressive. But do you
yeah,
find like actually writing with your spouse is beneficial to communication? Do you find that it deepens that connection in any way?
for sure. I mean, in some way, it like widens our relationship because you've become colleagues in a way too.
Hmm.
And sometimes you have to remind yourself of that too. Because sometimes when you're writing a song, you're trying to find the like ultimate good or like the ultimate good song.
Yeah.
And I think as musicians, sometimes we can be a little nasty.
Mm.
So I think sometimes you have to be like, oh, wait a minute. You realize who you're communicating with, which I think is a good experience for even when you're not writing with your spouse. You should always be nice and you should always be humble and listen to people. Uh, but yeah, I love doing it. I think especially since she knows me so well. So she has been able to like kind of dig things out of me. She's like, "Well, why don't we write a song about this or that?" Like, and I'm just like, for Who's Crying When I'm Leaving, for example. That was her idea. She
Yeah.
was like, "You're always talking about like feeling like you don't have one home and like you're not home long enough to like have one set of friends. You have like friends all around the world that you get to meet at a few random times throughout the year."
Mm.
And I mean, I cried like 4 times during that session. So I think she's doing a good job, like being my therapist.
Well, do you get to talk on a deeper level? Because like when you're kind of like exposing lyrics, it's very, like it really is kind of like exposing deep thoughts in a lot of ways. So I was wondering, has there ever been any times like during the process, you can be private about this, by the way, you don't have to be too
Yeah,
specific
yeah.
if you don't want, but like was there any times during the writing of the record where like, wow, I didn't know you thought like that, or I have those concerns too. I didn't know that they bothered you as well, or anything like that.
I think we have very good communication outside of the songwriting too. So I think songwriting is more when we get to like kind of put it down on paper. It becomes real in some sense when you put it into a song, and it becomes sad, or like I don't know, you make like a straw situation of something, and not a straw situation because that sounds like it's fake, but it's like you're making it into this object.
Yeah, I
It's like,
think if I could maybe add to that, like I think when you
yeah,
document something, it's sort of making it real. I don't know.
yeah, it's almost like journaling.
Yeah, exactly.
If you just talk about things, it comes and goes, and you talk about something, and then 30 minutes later, you're on to the next subject.
Yeah.
But I guess if you're writing a song for like 7 hours, you're stuck in that conversation and that thought for 7 hours.
Has there ever been
So
any point in your songwriting where you've kind of faced things that you didn't want to deal with, but in order to get the song out, you kind of had to face it? Because that's kind of like therapy in a way too, where, I think good effective therapy is actually, it's not just surface level. It's like you're actually dealing with the things that really like screwed you up at some point in your life. So do you find like there's ever been painful moments in songwriting where you're like, I have to express this, or I have to explore this, or has everything you've explored been comfortable for you?
I think I've always wanted to explore what I've explored, but I mean, at some deeper level, I think the reason why I never was super specific in lyrics is because I've been afraid to talk about things.
Yeah.
And
But that
I've
can be
been
beneficial
afraid
too because it's open to listener interpretation.
for sure, for sure. I mean, yeah. And I also think very specific lyrics or like specific themes are like very quite in now in pop too. And I'm just lucking out in that that's been the type of music I've listened to now for a long time. And who knows, I might go back, in the future, I might go back to like broader strokes so that it's more up for interpretation. But there's something freeing about knowing what you're singing about.
Yeah.
There's something very nice about that.
And was there a concept from the beginning of this record about the man who lost it all, or is that something that showed itself in the process? Like, did you kind of go in like to the album, kind of going like, okay, I'm going to write a record kind of around this concept, or was it more just like, oh, when we kind of put the record together, we look back and this is kind of what we found?
I think the concept of the album is more so what I've been talking about now for a little bit. It's like it's true life, true experiences, like the truly me going through like every little room there is in my heart for what I've gone through and just kind of expressing that. But I think The Man Who Lost It All was just that song that like after the Italy trip, I was like, it was different. I remember when we listened to all the songs, we were all in tune that The Man Who Lost It All is different. It's a different type of song. It's such, I don't know, it's such a raw expression. So I think in that sense, it might not be like the hittiest record on the album, but I was super proud of what we said in that song and how vulnerable it is and how honest it is with like the listeners.
Well, it's actually from that song that I wanted to highlight the lyric. This one really resonated with me. And again, this could me putting my own interpretation on it, but I'll
Yeah.
express what I felt and you can just tell me if I'm off base or not. But I love the line, when I turn 70, will I still have a family? What I love about that lyric is that I think kind of at our age, you're sort of at a weird crossroads between, uh, your youth and kind of getting older. And
Yeah.
what I think is interesting is just the assumption that you would turn 70, like because with life expectancies kind of going so high, like I just kind of expect everyone to live to at least 80 at this point. But like I think even like before, like even in the 80s and stuff, it was very common to be like, yeah, he had a heart attack, he was 58, he's dead, where you don't
Yeah,
really hear
true.
that so much anymore, like now there's
Yeah,
always the expectations, like there's still so many people from even the 1920s who are still alive now.
yeah,
But what hit me, I think, is that like, while we're kind of enjoying higher life expectancies and we can kind of have that expectation to live into like our elderly years, there
yeah,
is that bittersweet reality of going like, yeah, but the my parents and these people and people I grew up with, they're not going to be there when I hit that age.
yeah.
Was that what you were thinking about there, or is that just me putting that on you?
Well, no, I think I mean, I've been at that crossroads, like you said, and I've looked at my life and I've had to decide on some habits that I'm like, if I continue these things, that's going to ruin me. And you have to start looking at life differently because it's not just this big, you can't just run on anything.
Hmm.
You have to like kind of make like conscious decisions of what you're putting your time and effort into. And I think for me, yeah, I was just thinking about like, what do I want for my life? If I keep living the way I'm living now, how will my life look in 10 years? And I think at a certain point in my life, I was like, oh, it would be very dark. It would be very gray and I would be very lonely. So yeah, it's just a space where I feel like, I don't know, probably as a human, but also as a man, I was like, it's I need to sort myself out here because I need to get better at these things. I can't just run from my issues. I can't just hide from responsibilities or life. I feel like I've been so good at running from life in so many ways. Being the younger brother, I think that's so typical.
Hmm.
Like you always have someone else helping you with something. And I think Point Space was the first step into me kind of taking my first steps outside of the band and just learning how to do things.
So without boy in
And
space, you wouldn't be a man in Earth.
yeah, it's kind of a boy to man album, I feel like. I even have
Yeah.
a sexy song, which
Oh,
is
wow. Very scandalous.
no, it's not a sexy song, but it's like I have a romantic song. I was like,
Yeah.
who am I? John Mayer? What?
Well, I think it's actually better to get this stuff out when you're like older and you have experience and you kind of know what you want to say. I mean, imagine, for example, writing a romantic song when you're like 18. It's like you're just young and inexperienced and dumb. Not you particularly, but I mean, just like people in general. It's like, you're, again, I'm not being judgmental, but it's like your view in the world is just so myopic. You're still a
Yeah.
child, 18, you're still a kid.
Yeah. So much.
Do you feel it's beneficial now to be doing Boy in Space at the age you're doing it compared to, say, if you were starting your career with this project?
Sorry if I was starting my career.
So, do you think it's beneficial to be doing Boy in Space at the age you are now, like for the last 10 years or so, but like,
Yeah.
compared to say if you were starting this project when you began your music career?
Yes, I do. I think like I said before, it's all building blocks and it's all a part of the journey and it's a part of the story. And I think I learned so many things with JTR, and one of those things was, and that's one of the core values of Boy in Space is I'm always going to create exactly what I want to create.
Yeah.
There needs to be that creative freedom. And I feel like when you're in a band and there's so many opinions and you're like with a major label, there's like expectations of like how your hair should be,
Yeah.
like how you look, how you talk, and everything. It's like that when I had that with the boy band, it was like I can't wait to just be able to express myself how I want to express myself. So I think it happened for a reason. It happened at a perfect timing, and it happened because it just needed to. I was just yearning to do what I've been doing.
I have. You've been very gracious, with your time. I just have three final questions. I'll let you get
Yeah,
on with your night because I
no,
know it's
no
an
worries.
hour. I know you're an hour ahead in Sweden, so it must be
It's
getting
getting a
late.
little late.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just want to ask one thing. So at the moment, the singles that are out now are "Who's Crying When I'm Leaving," "The Man Who Lost It All," and "Sex, Drugs, and Money." I was wondering
Yeah.
why you chose those three songs to kind of be the first kind of hints at the album.
I think Who's Crying When I'm Leaving, it has such a, first of all, it has that honesty that I think the whole album has. And I think we did a really good job about talking about something real. And I feel like the emotions I felt during that session, and then how, like, I think the song just came out beautifully and in every sense. And it had like it had a tempo, which I like. I think the rhythm and the tempo and the melodic language mixed with what I'm saying in the song is like, it's a good, it's like a good transition from what I've done before, I feel like, into this album, which is different, but it's still, I still want it to feel kind of safe while being a little bit unsafe for the regular Boy in Space fan. I want them to feel like they're entering something new, but also that it has familiarities to it. So I felt that was just one of the strongest songs from the album. I think The Man Who Lost It All too. And then honestly, I thought that Sex, Drugs, and Money was just a fresh, like a fresh note after two very serious songs.
Yeah.
I just wanted to hit people with a little bit of like creative relief where it's like, ah, cool. Like, I just want to show that there's a blend of things. It's not one song. It's not one theme. It's not just a bunch of depressive songs. It's like a mix of it. There, it has the like Noah Kahn depression, but it's also like happy stuff and nice stuff.
Perfect. And second last question. I just wanted to ask, you've been very successful obviously with Boy in Space. I was just wondering, like, how much of that, because we're sort of talking about like, doing things independently now and sort of having a lot more dictation. How much of your success you kind of accredit to being calculated and being focused and kind of like doing things right versus how much of your success you kind of accredit to luck and opportunities and things like that?
That's such a funny question because I think it's such a, I think when I think everything, I mean, it sounds so cliche, but it all happens for a reason.
Mm.
And I think if you want to call it God or the universe or whatever, I call it God. I
Mm.
feel like when I was ready for it, I got the opportunities and they showed themselves in like very strange ways, in very cool ways. Of like, yeah, I keep getting the right opportunity for the like readiness of things I am, if that makes
Mhm.
sense.
Yeah, no,
I've
absolutely.
never I've never been like just given a bunch of things that I can't handle. I feel like I just keep learning and I keep getting challenges and I keep seeing everything as a challenge. So yeah, I think a lot of it, I think if you keep working and you keep consistently, I think the world is going to see that. And I think you're going to get rewarded for it. And I think opportunities are going to open themselves up for the person who seeks them and wants to do things. So it's like if you want to do it, start doing it. And if it's, I don't know, it's a hard thing because it's so different for everyone, but that's how it's been for me.
Perfect.
It's
And
been like little doorways leading to the next one.
yeah, and you were kind of talking a little earlier about like, what would you call it, kind of like, feeling like you've kind of like squandered certain opportunities. Is that fair to say? So how do you kind of like, do you find like now with what you've been
What
given?
did you say that I've
Like, well, I'm not quoting you directly. I
okay,
apologize,
okay.
but
No, it's okay.
I believe earlier you were kind of mentioning like there are certain opportunities that you felt kind of regret for not taking. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Or so how do you feel like now looking back at that, the opportunities that at the time you're probably a little devastated about like not acting upon, versus going like, well, every decision I made has lived up to this life I have now, and which you seem very happy with, and you should
I
be.
think I think if everything would have just happened like the way I thought it would have happened, like back in 2019, of like just a instant trajectory, and then it's all of a sudden it's world tours and everything. I think I would have never been able to appreciate it. I think I'm so thankful that I'm like in the position I am, and I've had some really tough years where like not even my health was a given.
Yeah,
So it's like now everything I get, I'm truly grateful. It makes a huge difference. So I think that's the way I look at life. I'm
perfect.
choosing to look at it from that perspective of like I'm given what I'm capable of and what the world deems like I should get in that moment.
Perfect. Well,
And
thanks
if
very
I
much.
choose to answer the call, that's up to me, I guess.
Well, thanks very much for your time, Robin. I don't want to take up any more. I just want to ask one final thing, and that is,
Yeah.
will we ever see Boy in Space in Ireland?
I've actually been talking about that today. So
Oh,
I can't say anything for sure, but there might be a show in Dublin.
okay. So stay tuned. Stay following your socials. Do you want to plug all them where people can find you so people can
Yeah,
see
just
if
it's just Boy in Space, like everywhere on Instagram, TikTok, or like YouTube or whatever. I yeah, just keep tuned, and you'll see a bunch of content from me where I sing and I express myself.
Perfect. Well, I look forward to your trip here. Is there anything you'd like to add before we wrap up? Anything I failed to cover that you think people should know? Or
No, if you like live music, come and see me live. I love playing live. And it's like my new obsession, kind of. And I'm realizing how important it is in like the bigger picture for my artistry. So if you have the opportunity to come and see one of my future shows, then please do. I'd love to have you there.
perfect. Thanks very much for your time, Robin, and
Thank you
enjoy the
so
rest of your
much.
night.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
You too, man.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to that episode of Post-Burnout.com interviews. We're available wherever you get your podcasts, so we hope that you enjoyed and consider subscribing, giving it a like on YouTube, or a rating anywhere else. We also have some exclusive episodes only available on Spotify, which features interviews with the likes of Kim Deal, Ron Mail of Sparks, Jacob Slater of Wonder Horse, Maria Kelly, Gavin Friday, and many more. So check those out if you're so inclined. Otherwise, thank you for listening and see you next time.